in the scheduled timing of the program. Welcome
Welcome
to the
all to
event of
DHADCAN Foundation event. Would
Welcome
like
to the event
to
of DHADCAN
request
Foundation.
Shresthavardhan.
Sorry. Yeah. Welcome to the event of DHADCAN Foundation, second national virtual conference of emotional quotient, that is a concept for heartful neuro leadership. This conference will go on for 2 days, and for today, distinguished guest for today's session will be Mr. Vivek Atre sir, former IAS officer, author, and motivational speaker. We will have with us Mr. Sanjay Sehgal, founder and CEO, AMSIS Group, USA. Mr. Prakash Sheshadri, founder and CEO, C Chain Consulting, Chennai. Uh, I would like to welcome Chief Secretary of DHADCAN Foundation, Mr. Anshuman Upadhyay, who is also the host and moderator for today's program. Sir is the Chief Secretary of DHADCAN Foundation. Along with this, he is the member of International Global Network. Sir has done his graduation in agriculture and currently pursuing masters in agriculture, specialization in horticulture. I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Anshuman Upadhyay.
Thank you very much, Shrest, and it's my honor to have you all with us today in this session. And I feel extremely honored and privileged to announce that we got a very good number of 750 registrations this time, and a few were unofficially registered, like we didn't get the formal registrations from them, but we got them registered through offline mode. And it's my privilege that on my invitation we have one of our best orators, Mr. Vivek Atre sir. I am highly privileged to have you, sir. Pranam, sir. And I also feel honored to have Mr. Kaushlendra Pratap Singh sir with us. Without welcome, Bhaiya. Warm welcome, Mr. Kaushlin, sir. And I won't take much time as we plan to just start this session at 5, but due to some technical issues, the program got a bit delayed. No issues. We'll be starting immediately, and for a very short introduction for welcoming our first guest speaker for this National Virtual Conference on EQ, Emotional Quotient, a concept for heartful neuro leadership, would like to invite Mr. Vivek Atre sir. Mr. Vivek Atre sir is an ex-IAS officer and is a motivational speaker, author, mentor, advisor, columnist, and visiting professor. He resigned from the Indian Administrative Services in 2017. Sir has 8 TEDx talks and 5 highly popular Josh talks. Over 5 million people have viewed his videos on YouTube, including his very popular interview with Ranveer Allahabadiya, aka Beer Biceps. He is the founder of Suvichar think tank, visiting professor and chair of the Yogananda Center for Theology at Shulini University. He is also a founder of Vibrant Networking Forum, Playwright Foundation, Chandigarh Literary Society, and co-convener of Intech Chandigarh. He is a member of Governors Advisory Council for Chandigarh UT, Union Territory. He addresses audience from industry, academia, government at all on the nuances of leadership, good governance, interpersonal relations, emotional intelligence, life skills, people skills, public speaking skills, meditation, calmness, entrepreneurship, education, and sports management. He has inspired thousands of youngsters to adopt a cheerful, positive, and multidimensional approach to their lives. Mr. Vivek Atre is an acclaimed orator and has spoken in India and abroad at events of Horasis, NASCOM, CII, TIE, NCGG, Labasna, IIFT, ISB, universities, colleges, schools, and at private companies. His novels are Move On Bunny, and Dubeji bounces back. He writes a fortnightly column, Random Forays, for the Hindustan Times. His new books are It's Wonderful Life and Finding Success Within. Adding to it, Sir also joined us on Instagram Live for a lecture on finding success within. As a director, IT and tourism, he was the man behind the Chandigarh IT Park. He spearheaded the award winning e Sampark project. He was quoted by the New York Times and the Observer of UK during this period. As DC District Collector Panchkula, he initiated projects such as village mentoring and Adar Samman, respect for the elderly. He has been organizing the All India annual JP Atre cricket tournament since 1992. Vivek Sir himself was an under 19 cricketer at the national level. He is an electronics engineer from NIT Kurukshetra. He has a diploma in French. His favorite book is The Autobiography of Yogi by Paramhansa Yoganand. It's our pleasure to have Mr. Vic Atre sir with us. Would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Atre for his talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, very good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the warm welcome, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. In fact, it is one of the rare occasions when so many people have pre-registered. I'm happy to hear about that. I always feel very excited when youth organizations are involved, and I've been traveling across India now to Coimbatore, to Bombay, to Bangalore, to Chennai, and other places in India, Baroda, etc. And I have found that the youth are still with that zest, that energy, that enthusiasm for life. And what you did just now, the introduction you gave was also full of enthusiasm and energy, and that makes me more energized to give my talk. So we will have an interaction in a little while, but I'll share a few thoughts first. And my few thoughts are that emotional intelligence is so important for all of us. It is very, very important for us to make sure that we are able to control our emotions in a manner that is befitting of our personality and our job. If we are able to control our emotions when we should, then we become better personalities. Sometimes people are very well-meaning, but they say things that they should not say. They do things that they should not do in certain company, and that becomes a very difficult kind of because it is very, very important for us to make sure that people, whenever we react or respond to any situation, we are able to do our best. And that is extremely important. So I'm sure that you will understand that when we have high level of emotional intelligence, it means we are able to do that. Is everything okay? Picture and audio is okay?
I find your camera is not proper.
Camera is not proper. Is it blank or is it showing?
Yeah, it's not showing your photograph. It's not showing your you.
I'll just see why it is. Let me set it right. Am I audible and visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's perfect. It's perfect now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so to continue, emotional intelligence is basically the ability to balance your reactions and responses to situations and people. So if we have good reactions and responses, that means we are able to control our emotions. That means we are balanced. Basically, balance is the key, and balance is something which makes us better human beings. So I am sure that all of you understand that balance is the key, because balance makes us perfect human beings in the sense that we don't lose our temper unnecessarily. We don't shout unnecessarily. We don't say things which we are not supposed to say. And then we become balanced human. For example, if somebody is standing in front of us who is requiring some correction, we require to scold this person. Let's say, excuse me, 1 second. Yeah, now it's better. So basically, if we require to scold somebody, for example, we have somebody who is not doing the right thing, and we feel that we are senior, we have to say something to this person, then we scold that person. But who do you scold this person in front of? Do you scold this person in front of everybody? Do you scold this person in front of juniors? Do you scold this person in front of other people who should not be there? In that case, the person doesn't mind the scolding. He doesn't mind the correction. He doesn't mind being told that this is wrong and this is right. He or she minds the humiliation. He or she minds the fact that these juniors or others are present. So he or she cannot sleep at night because you have said something harsh in front of others. So emotional intelligence tells us that when the situation is right and apt, then we should do a particular thing or say a particular thing. Of course, scolding anyone and even otherwise is not right. But sometimes we have to be firm. Tell them this is wrong, this is the wrong timing or wrong attitude, or you have to improve yourself. So you have to be a bit firm with your team at times. But you have to say it in a manner that is more balanced. This is the key. And that will make you better human beings. And that better human being is the one who understands this much better. Next point is, how do we become aware of our own shortcomings? We cannot all be perfect. Nobody is perfect, rather. And if you are perfect, then you are not human. But you can be better than what you are. So if I start understanding myself better, that means that I will understand my shortcomings also. So my shortcomings could be that I am a very, a very angry person, or it could be that I'm a scared person, or it could be that I'm a jealous person, or I could be overthinking. This is my shortcoming if I'm overthinking. So overthinking is not good for me. So that means that I am not able to balance my life. Overthinking, over anxiety, over fear, over anger, that is something which I should not do. So these are the things which we need to avoid. And next point is that if I'm aware of my shortcoming, what do I do to correct it? So emotional intelligence tells me that I must keep improving. I cannot be lazy that, oh, I have these shortcomings, so I have to live with them. No, I have to improve them. I have to go on getting better, talking to people in a better way, smarter way, confident way, calm way. So one of the things which helps us greatly is calmness. And calmness is basically being balanced in the mind. You see, there is a story that there was a pond and the reflection of the moon was very clear in the pond at night. And the person coming, watching that reflection, was in awe of the beauty of the moon in the pond. And the moon above and the moon in the pond, they were perfectly symmetrical. But then this person threw a pebble or a stone into the water. And the water was rippled. And there were ripples, waves, rivulets in the water. And then the image of the moon becomes distorted and became distorted. And therefore, this person realized that the calmness of the water was disturbed and the image of the moon is disturbed. Similarly, in our mind, when we are disturbed or angry or upset, then we do not see the picture of life clearly. We do not see events in front of us clearly, and then it becomes more difficult for us to respond properly. If we are clouded by our anger or by our fear or by our worries, then our emotions are not practical. They are going to be sketchy. They're going to be rash. They might be even, very angry types. So if I'm losing my temper about 10 times a day or even 5 times a day or 2 times a day, it means that I am someone who cannot control my emotions. So I have to better myself. People who are calmer are more respectable. People like being with others who are calm individuals rather than those who are always, in a frenzy, always agitated, always, anxious. So even if within we are feeling anxious, to our team or to our juniors or to our brother, sister, friend, we don't show all of our anxiety. Of course, there are times when you have to be yourself and you have to maybe even share your tears with your close ones so that you can express yourself and let that pain and anxiety go. But not every time. And when you are the boss or you're the team leader, can you show your team that you are scared? You should not be able to, or you should not have to. You should show them that you are calm, even if you're feeling scared from within. For example, during the pandemic, many businesses collapsed, and the leader must be scared. What will happen to us? But if you are able to take good steps and you are calm in the mind, then your business will not collapse and you will be a good leader. That is something you must realize. So I think it's very important for us to understand our own weaknesses and strengths, and then we will be better leaders. The next point I'd like to make is that you have to try to be a little more cheerful. Emotional intelligence means I'm not angry type or complaining type of it. Complaints are not really very happy things to do. You're not happy with the situation, you improve it. You don't go on complaining, cribbing, rondu type banda, unhappy. You're going on getting disturbed, going on criticizing. You see people in the train complain book lao, ye theek nahi hai, wo theek nahi hai. Don't get like that. Don't be that person who does this. So that person is one in maybe 50 people, 1 in 50 or 60 people are like that. In a train, you find only one person in the compartment who is doing that. So that means 70, 80 people are there. So only one person is like that. Why do you want to be that person? So instead of being a complainant, there is a quote, be an encourager. Be an encourager. You see behind me the photograph of Paramahansa Yogananda. He is the author of the autobiography of a yogi. And in that photograph, he is the author of that book. And he said, be calmly active and actively calm. Calmly active and actively calm. So we have to be calm. We have to adopt calmness. 3 ways in which I will advise all the youth to become calmer. Number 1, meditation. Somehow you have to get into meditation. Somehow you have to meditate more. Or if you started meditation, at least have a structured plan. Don't stop meditating after 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Sit for 10, 15 minutes and try to meditate. Secondly, try to read more books. Reading of books will make you a calm person. It will give you learning. It will give you understanding. You'll become a better individual. Reading books gave me a lot of depth. If I'm a writer and speaker today, it's because I read lots of books. It makes me better. It makes me calm. Third is sports, physical activity. When our body is fit, then our mind will be fitter. Body is very important. So if I'm a sports person or I spend time 1 hour in the nature, walking, fresh air, endorphins are released, good happy hormones are released, then my mind becomes calm. So all these 3 activities, meditation, reading books, physical fitness, sports, these are very important. Conversations are also very important. Conversations with loved ones, with friends. Instead of being on the virtual world, let us talk to each other. Let us express. Then you become better. And your emotions also calm down. So I think it's very important for us to understand. And then if our calmness is more, then we will not lose our temper at times. We will not become angry and agitated just like that. We will become calmer people. And being calmer is much more important. So people will respect someone like that. You will have a lot of goodwill. Bahut important. Another point I'd like to make is be creative. Creativity will make you a better human being, a happier human. So emotional intelligence will also be high of an artist or of a sports person or of a writer or a photographer. This person is more aware of the surroundings, of the habits, of the situation. This person is not just a rash or angry person. Creative people are more sensitive. They are more appreciative of others. So be creative. Find your creativity and then use that to the best of you. So I think I'll stop here for now, and then we can carry on later, and I'll pass on to you. And I just want to say that I am available on social media. LinkedIn and Instagram are preferred to me. and Instagram Live I've done with DHADCAN earlier, Anshuman earlier, and you can contact me on Instagram, send me a message, and I'll be happy to answer your queries if you have any. Because everybody goes through these processes. It's not easy to implement what I'm saying. Koshish karo.
sir.
Try your best. Over to you.
Yeah, sir, I am having a few questions to ask you, and I
Yes,
hope that the audience will be very happy to have these answers of these questions, as these are the questions which we have received from our audience only. So, sir, the
right.
first question would like to ask you, sir, you have been into the Indian administrative services for a very good time, for a very longer period. And what were the obstacles that you faced in your circle or during your job that somewhere led to remove that stress from your life while you face any sort of obstacles in your job? Like,
Yeah, it's a very
did
good
it ever
question.
happen? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I think that in any service, there are obstacles and there are problems. The private sector also faces them. A lot of people undergo a lot of pressure and stress in the service of private companies. And there is a lot of expectation and demand and work. And, sometimes bosses are a little harsh also. In the government also it happens. And in my service, a few times I faced that kind of stress. But I think the family helps. Spend more time with the family, share your pain with the wife or with the husband or with your life partner, and just try and be calm. And these crises, they go away. So whenever I faced any obstacle, I knew that this is temporary phase. This is a temporary phase. So I have to be calm. And I would keep myself busy with meditation, with sports. I play, I love physical activity and I follow sports. And then I would read. So music also, music is a great stress buster. I think these are the things that I also did. And creativity, any creative thinking. And then whatever problem you're facing, deal with it calmly. Be solid. Don't be weak, but don't be overreactive. So I think that was my secret.
Okay. Sir, the next question which we have for you is, while you were preparing to be a civil servant, how was your life and how you managed your life with being with the materialistic things and being into spirituality?
Yeah, when I was preparing, I was not much aware about spirituality. When I was entering in civil services, I was just like any other boy or girl. I was just, looking for my career. And it was a tough phase. Obviously, you don't know what is going to happen, but that uncertainty is part of the game. Anybody who is feeling uncertain, I must tell you that ye sab hota hai. Don't feel uncertain. It is part of the life. Life is not predictable. Unpredictability is a part of. We should accept unpredictable lives are part of the game. It's part of the plan, divine plan. So you must go forward with your basic qualities in place. So I also was trying to be good in my life, my conduct, my work, trying to work hard. And yes, I was a believer of God and I used to try to pray as much as possible. But now I have been able to make more rapid strides in spirituality. I balance my body, mind, and soul. I try to meditate twice a day. I spend a lot of time in yoga. I do a lot of reading, spiritual reading also, and listening to videos and satsangs. So whatever I can, so that I know that the purpose of life is to find God. At that time, maybe I was not clear, but now I am. So whatever work I do, motivational work, materialistic work, and spiritual work, has to be balanced, and that is very important.
Right, sir. Sir, one thing is that we are having right now, that tell us about a time when you had to neutralize a stressful situation in a professional environment.
Yeah, I think a lot of youngsters ask this, and many a time they ask about politicians. So let me give an example. So one politician was insisting about something. He said, "ये आपको करना चाहिए, ये करना पड़ेगा." I said, "ये नहीं हो सकता." So then he said,
Right.
"You have to do it." I said, "No, I can't do it." That is a stressful situation. And then he's a powerful man. But then I realized that he understood that this officer will not be bullied, or he cannot be pushed around. So he started respecting me. When I said this cannot be done, he kept quiet about it. And after a couple of months, he realized, because I was new at that time, he realized that he's okay. He listens to the people, he works. So he doesn't listen to these wrong requests. So he stopped making any wrong requests. One or two times, the person may have been even worse. But then what can they do? Basically, they can transfer you if you don't listen to them. But I think all politicians are not like that. And all politicians are not like that all the time. Once in a while, they will try to browbeat you. But it's okay. You take your stand. And you try to be straight and honest. They will be fine.
Thank you, sir. So one question that is hitting us from a few community of civil aspirants, and they are asking, sir, it happens that we get emotionally weak due to some reasons during our preparation period, and we do not give that impact on our work and studies. That may be due to some positive or negative manners. What should we do in such situations to deal with that emotional weakness within ourselves?
Yeah, because we are human. We are all human. So we will feel weak at times. It's okay to feel worried and scared at times and emotionally weak and cry also. And, it's okay because you are human after all. And there are stresses. There are pressures from the society and parents and peer and friends and relatives. So obviously you feel stressed out. I'm not saying anybody can be perfect. So you have to know that these weak moments are also important at times. So then you bounce back. So you feel low at one day and then next day you bounce back. And then again you feel low, again you bounce back. That is what life is about. So don't think things will be perfect. Don't think they will be smooth. But let me tell you, most lives will be having more highs than lows. And I'm a motivational speaker, I must motivate. There are hundreds of times when you can be thankful to God for happy things that happen in your life. But we forget to thank God or forget to thank our parents. So we must thank them. And when one or two bad things happen, it's okay, part of the game. So emotional weakness means that you're feeling low, you're feeling scared, you're feeling weak. But by and by, gradually, if you bounce back, if you are determined, if you believe in yourself, confidence, faith, then you will succeed.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope we are done with the questions from Mr. Atre, sir. If anybody from the audience wants to ask anything at the moment, they are welcome with their questions. Rest from my end, what all you shared, the questions what all were shared with me, I just asked her, and I am very thankful to Mr. Atre, sir, for joining us. And I was just chasing him from a month because he's having a
Yes,
very
thank you
busy
very much.
schedule.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much for inviting me. I'm very thankful to the team, and I think it's a very good opportunity for me to interact with the youth. And
Thank you, sir.
let's stay connected, all of us. It's a connected world, so stay connected with me, and I'll keep helping you in whatever way I can. Thank you, Anshuman. All the best.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Vivek Atre, sir. Next in the sequence, moving towards our next guest speaker, would like to invite my elder brother, my mentor, my guide, and my spiritual bhai, I would also say, Mr. Kaushlen Pratap Singh Bhaiya. I would rather calling him sir, I'll call him Bhaiya, being he's just like my elder brother, and he is my elder brother, would must say. For a short introduction to Mr. Kaushlen Pratap Singh, I would like to inform you all Mr. Kaushlen Pratap Singh is an officer in the Karnataka Bank, Bengaluru. He is the meditation and yoga trainer as well as life coach and a motivational speaker. Mr. Singh has joined Karnataka Bank as an officer after completing his BTech Electrical and Electronic Engineering and MBA in HR and Marketing. He is a certified heartfulness trainer who specializes in relaxation, meditation, and stress reduction approaches with a passion for helping people to find a path towards holistic wellness with overall 12 years of experience. He is good at human relations, art, creating projects, connecting people, advising, consulting, communications, training, and social media management. He has been hardworking, believes in innovative ideas, and executing tasks with diligence. He has an experience in establishing and leading student clubs. He has been a great advocate of having scientific approach towards spirituality. He has been a professional faculty, trainer, coach, and mentor. He loves to travel and possess interest in theater. Mr. Singh believes in evolution of humankind. We feel honored to have Mr. Kaushlen Pratap Singh Bhaiya with us. Handing over the mic to you, Bhaiya. All yours. All yours.
Thank you, Anshuman bhai. As you said that you will call me Bhaiya, then you are my really a great, wonderful brother, and I'm so glad to have this humble introduction from you. So thank you, Anshuman bhai, and I really welcome and honored to be with all the audience now who are joining us on live on YouTube. So hello everyone, namaskar. और मैं जैसा कि मेरे इंट्रोडक्शन में था, इट इज कम्युनिकेशन and I believe in true communication, which is always a two-sided way. So I does not believe one-way communication of going. So we will have a very interactive session now today. So let's start without much ado. We can have today's session. So when we talk about इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस, तो पहले चलिए देखते हैं इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस है क्या. व्हाट इज इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस? इट इज द कैपेसिटी टू बी अवेयर, टू कंट्रोल, टू एक्सप्रेस and to have a profound connection within and people around the surrounding, so that we are able to take up the challenges, the changes and the stresses of life with ease. And it is never a one day process. कोई आपको जो है कोई मशीन में डाल के आपको कहे कि हम इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंट बन गए, ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा. Always, every life always throws up some test to you. We have to go through those tests. Every step we have to go through in order to gain that maturity. वो परिपक्वता अपने जीवन में लाने के लिए हमें उन छोटे छोटे जो हमारा जीवन हमें टेस्ट देता है, जो हमें चैलेंजेस और जो हमारे जीवन में पेन्स आते हैं, वो सारी चीजों कैसे हमें परिपक्व बनाते हैं, कैसे हमारी मैच्योरिटी को इंप्रूव करते हैं, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन अ लाइफ. तो जब हम इमोशन की बात करें, व्हाट इज इमोशन? इमोशन इज व्हाट यू फील. आपकी फीलिंग क्या है? सो लेट्स आई वुड आस्क ईच एंड एवरीवन, जस्ट go back in your mind and feel that what is your feeling at this moment. अभी आप क्या फील कर रहे हैं? अभी आपके अंदर क्या चल रहा है? क्या आप अपने विचारों के ऊपर थोड़ा सा गौर कर सकते हैं? क्या आप देख सकते हैं अपने अंदर कि आप कैसा महसूस कर रहे हैं? So I'm taking a pause of few seconds. 30 सेकंड का एक पॉज है, where I would say that you tell on the chat, in the chat of the YouTube, we would like to know what is your feeling at this moment.
All are welcome to please share their comments with us. What Kaushlen Bhaiya has asked, that please just think over it, that what you are feeling at the moment. All are kindly requested to please share their comments with us.
So maybe Anshuman ji, you can read out few of the comments which are coming on the live session.
Okay. So one brother is sharing with us, excited. That's
nice.
great. That's great. Feeling happy. Okay, very good. You're feeling. Others, please share your valuable comments. What you are feeling at the moment? People must be typing. Neutral. Okay.
Neutral.
Anupama Gupta is feeling neutral. That's good. That's good. That's very good.
So that is what my point is. कि जब whenever we ask about the feeling, we will say that we are feeling good, excited, and all sorts of positive things. But I would also invite each and every person to show their vulnerabilities, क्योंकि हमारी feeling हमेशा ही good और अच्छी और excited नहीं होती है. So it is very important that we all are able to connect with our feelings also, with our vulnerabilities also, with our weaknesses also. और ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हम क्योंकि जब हम ओवरऑल इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस की बात कर रहे हैं, then both positives and negatives both are important. Overall personality is important. Our life is mostly governed by dualities in everywhere, you know. जहां पे खुशी होगी वहां पे गम जरूर होगा, जहां पे एक्साइटमेंट होगा वहां पे न्यूट्रल या कुछ करने का मन नहीं वो भी होगा. तो इसलिए ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हम गौर करें और उन थॉट्स को, उन विचारों को एक्नॉलेज करें, तभी तो हम उनसे कोप अप करना सीख पाएंगे. देन ओनली विल एबल टू हैंडल दोज इमोशंस, दोज थिंग्स इन आवर लाइफ. And one very important concept which has been a guiding principle in my life, that if we pay attention to our life, it is not a singular path, it is always a multi-dimensional existence. We have a personal life where our relationship with our mother, father, friends and everyone is there. We have our professional life where our education, our job, our whatever uh, business, if you are doing, you're doing job or you're a student, that is there. Then you have your economic life where you manage the money you get, whether you get as a salary or you get as a pocket money from the family or a scholarship. You have your leisure time where you pursue your hobbies, your interests. The problem which I see, which I find, is that when we are not able to demarcate between these dimensions of our life and we only pay full attention to just one dimension, then the problem will arise. So in order to manage the emotions of life, in order to manage how we lead our life, it is very important slowly and gradually we practice this skill of demarcating these efforts and knowing that our life becomes complete and holistic when everything is there in totality. Just one successful attempt in one direction, in one dimension, does not spoil your life. It cannot define your life. So when we start defining ourselves, you know, there are many examples. You get a very low marks in the school, and when you come home and your small brother or sister comes and tell you in an excited way, brother, today what happened, in my school, and you shout on him or her. See, you are bringing the stress of your professional life into your personal life. So it is a divergence. It is over divergence, overthinking. So overthinking is also the result of that. So in order to bring that neutrality, in order to be more informed, we have to be connected, because connection is one important thing which which is the first step towards that journey of becoming emotional intelligence. Then when you start becoming intelligent, then you are able to recognize your thoughts and feelings better. When you are able to recognize your thoughts and feelings better, you are able to cope up. You will get all your answers, all the strategies in this world, how to cope up with those situations in life when you pay attention to it. So here comes the power of pause. You must have all gone through that Robert Frost poem, that no time to stand and stare. So in today's glismo-visandrial world, where every day there is a bombardment of so much information, we have to have some basic tools, some basic practices in life, which makes us grounded, which makes us connected, which makes us aware. Again, I would like to take a pause, and I would request everyone to experience this awareness of the moment. Are you aware of this moment? Are you aware of what is being discussed, what is being said, and for what purpose we all have joined? So take a moment for yourself and see the awareness around. See the sound coming inside you. Just scan your body and see where are you feeling any stress, if any, in your body. So this is one exercise which I would like everyone to do. Find the awareness around what sounds you are able to hear, what pain or stress you are able to feel in your body, and what is going on in your mind. Small pause of few seconds and then we'll start. Feel this awareness. So here, the power of silence becomes very important in our life. It is very nicely said that silence is the language of God. So silence is a language of God. Then how are we able to silence? When we start hearing, when we are able to communicate in the silence, that is the real beauty of world. Have you all thought why we feel very good when we are near to an ocean, or when we are on a Himalayan mountains, or any mountain for that matter, or any meadows on the countryside? Why do we feel, why we long to go there, why we all go there for tourism or whatever purpose? What is that one thing which makes that place so happening? So you can write in the chat your answers. I would love to note down, I would love to see your chat, whatever you all say.
Guys, we must have your answers in the chat boxes, because this one is a live interactive session and we'll be only be able to have your answers in the chat box, because you are interacting with Mr. Kaushalendra Bhaiya, and with no doubt when he is speaking in front of people, like he's speaking live, would like to say physically he's live, then it is a matter of an honor to have him with us. So please be interactive. Okay, we have one answer. And in nature, it feels good. No doubt, in nature, it feels good. Calmness of that place. Right.
Correct.
Very good.
So that
More comments,
then the
please.
question will arise: internal peace. So from where that internal peace is coming in that place? What is the thing which is making that place calm? So
I
one more
find the
tip I would like
environment.
to, yes, that environment. And that environment is made when there is calmness. And that calmness is there when there is silence. So that environment is inside out silent, which makes it happening, which is a, we are able to connect with that environment. We are able to enjoy that environment. We are able to gain energy and inspiration and innovation in that environment, because there is silence. There is vastness, because silence has that vastness. जो शांति है उसके अंदर वो इन्फिनाइट वास्टनेस है, वो एक्सपेंशन है, वो बिखराव है, जिसके द्वारा हम अपने स्व से मिलके अपने स्वभाव को जान सकते हैं। और जब हम अपने स्वभाव को जान पाते हैं, वहां से हमारे इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट होने की जर्नी शुरू होती है। सो ये बहुत ही गूढ़ सत्य है हमारे जीवन का। इट्स अ वेरी profound truth of each one of our life that we have to connect. We have to know how, what, and when, what's going on in our life. Because without awareness, it will be, just a rat race. Life is a rat race, and life, we get our life just once. To live our life, we have to be here. We have to be in the present. Then one more activity I would like to conduct with everyone. So we are doing everything in an interactive way so that you all are involved. So I'm sure that every one of you are here with your mind, with your presence in this session. So let's start one more activity. I want everyone who is present, who is watching us on live, please mention in the comment section what are the things which you enjoy. So you can write I enjoy and then make a list of things.
Okay, that's a very much nice thing that we are going to do now. I welcome all with your comments, please. What is that thing that you enjoy the most? Okay, nobody is enjoying things these days.
No, people might be thinking also, maybe some contemplation going on, or they would have taken more inspiration into taking silence.
That's for sure. Rishabh Verma is saying, I enjoy. Okay, you enjoy being enjoying. That's
Enjoy
nice.
what? There can be many things in a life. Music, sports, IPL was going on. Asia Cup is going on. So there are thousands of things. Family time you enjoy. Okay, great. Enjoy
Okay,
reading, cooking. Nice. Rishabh Verma ji.
very good. Others, please. Prerna Bhatti ji is also writing something, and
Aura.
Mr. Hitesh Tharyani, yeah, she has mentioned the aura.
Okay, meditation,
Okay,
music, playing. Okay. Painting.
that's
Wow,
great.
Gunjan ji likes painting.
That's great. That's great.
That's really nice. Let's go haywire. Let's go as creative as possible. Photography, very nice, Prerna ji. Great. Then the second
Okay,
question,
others, please.
what I am good at? Dancing. Anshika ji says dancing. Wow, nice.
Okay, great, beautiful.
So now after enjoyment, let us move what I am good at. So when I'm asking what I'm good at, what you might have also got some validation, external validation is involved with that. What people around you have said that you are good at. Might be your writing is good at, might be your communication you are good at, might be in speaking you are good at. Writing, okay, Anjit ji is in writing, great.
Beautiful. I'm good at speaking, Vaya.
Anshuman ji, nice, great. That we
Reading
can
Aarti
testify also,
Kalalji.
Anshuman ji. Reading,
Thank you,
Aarti
thank you.
Kalalji is saying she is good at reading, great.
Speaking skills, very good.
Speaking skills, nice.
Uh, Meditation silence. Can you please mention your name, please? It would be great to have your name with us.
Archit Giri ji, good listener, wow, very rare quality. So we
That's
have
very good.
explaining
Good to
concept
hear it.
also, and we are having a listener also. That's great. We have all combinations. All spectrum of people are there with us today. That's really nice to know that this diversity.
Beautiful. Let's have a few more replies as well.
Caring. Nice. This is very important. Very, very important. So now the next question. What your family, your society, or the world needs? Just contemplate and tell what your family, society, and your world needs. Aarti ji is writing, it needs listening. Nice. Yes. Okay. Meditation silence is Rajan ji. Welcome, Rajan ji.
Ranjan, he is.
Ranjan ji, sorry.
Okay, we
Humanity.
are,
Writing
that's great.
stories. Gunjan ji is writing creativity. Nice.
Great, great.
And what else? I'm sure there will be many wild ideas in our life. So this is your platform. Come on. So you all are speaker with me. I'm not a speaker here. We all are speaker. We all are here to communicate, which is never a one-way process. It is always a dual process.
World needs love. That's true, brother.
Rishabh ji is
Money.
saying money.
Okay.
That
That's
is
very
also to
important.
some extent it is also true. Yes, nice. Motivation. Ashish ji is saying motivation. Anshika Gupta ji is saying success. World needs success.
One if a person will be successful, he'll definitely gonna have some money for sure. And then at the moment, second moment, he'll be motivated as well.
True, true, true. So you see how we all are able to feel that one thing, even if with the diversity also we converge, because everything leads to that one direction, that one world, you know. who understands and resonates with us. Nice. The world's need peace. Yes, so nice. So what will lead to this peace? What will lead to this understanding, this resonance? What will lead to success? So that is the purpose you have. When you are able to answer this question, that what your family, your society, or the world needs, that is the purpose of your life. That can be the purpose. This can be one way of thinking towards the direction of knowing your purpose. Because I hear with youth, when I interact, a lot of people say, भैया पता नहीं चल रहा है क्या करना है जीवन में, कैसे करना है, क्या करना है. तो पर्पस आपका ये है जब आप वो रिकग्नाइज करने लग जाते हो. And again, what is the tool? Silence, contemplation, introspection are the tools. Of course, we will do at the end of today's session also. We have a surprise for everyone of experiencing that tool to reach to your purpose. Then what you enjoy, when you answer this question, that what you enjoy, it connects you with your aspirations, what you aspire. Because until unless our motivation converts into inspiration, which is the flame inside us, वो कहते हैं ना कि अंदर की जोत, अंदर आग चिंगारी है कि नहीं है, वो चिंगारी आपकी जो है तब आती है जब आप इंस्पायर होते हैं अंदर से. So motivation can be good external for some time, but इस motivation को जब तक हम inspiration में नहीं convert करेंगे, till the time we do not convert this motivation to inspiration, our life will not change. And if our life doesn't change, if we don't adapt to the changes of the world, changes of the society, changes of this VUCA world, we might perish, because survival of the fittest, Mendelian law, which is true in every field of life. So if you do not become adaptive to your life, if you do not become adaptive to your aspirations to inspire you, वो चिंगारी अंदर नहीं ढूंढ पाएंगे हम, तो जीवन में आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे. तो जब आप अपने आप से ये सवाल करते हैं कि आप किन चीजों को देख के एक्साइटेड होते हैं, किन चीजों को एंजॉय करते हैं, क्या चीजें आपको मनोरंजित, रोमांचित कर देती हैं, तब आप अपनी इंस्पिरेशन से कनेक्ट हो पाते हैं, तब अपने आप स्वभाव से कनेक्ट हो पाते हैं. ये बहुत जरूरी है जीवन में कि ना हम अभाव में जिए, ना हम किसी और के मनोभाव में जिए, हम अपने स्वभाव में जिए. It's very, very important truth of a life. न प्रभाव न अभाव, अपना स्वभाव is important. और स्वभाव को जानने के लिए स्वाध्याय की जरूरत है. इसीलिए हम बार बार आपसे ये प्रश्न कर रहे हैं. That is why we are asking these questions, so that you introspect and connect and become aware of your life, of your journey, because we all are in this journey. ये यात्रा चल रही है, चलती रहेगी, पर इस यात्रा को कितना आप एंजॉय कर पाते हैं, कितना परस्पर सहयोग के साथ आगे बढ़ पाते हैं, ये बहुत जरूरी है जीवन में. That's the most important factor in our life. Then one question was there. एक और क्वेश्चन क्या था? What I am good at? Where we asked that here some sort of external validation is also required. जो आपके आसपास लोगों ने कहा था, आपके फ्रेंड्स ने, आपके टीचर्स ने, आपके कलीग्स ने, आपके जूनियर्स ने, आपके सीनियर्स ने, आपके गर्लफ्रेंड ने, आपकी बॉयफ्रेंड ने, जो भी कहा था कि जो आपके अंदर सबसे बेस्ट आप कर पाते हैं, वो that is what we are asking, what you are good at, जिसको हमें चेरिश करना है, जिसको हमें इम्प्रूव करना है. और जब हम इन तीनों चीजों को सही से पकड़ पाते हैं, टुगेदरनेस, ह्यूमैनिटी, जब इन सब चीजों को एक साथ ले आ पाते हैं, और जब हम सारे डायमेंशंस में उस टोटलिटी में आगे ग्रो करने के लिए आगे बढ़ पाते हैं, यानी कि व्हाट आई एंजॉय, यानी मैं एस्पिरेशन से जब कनेक्ट होता हूँ, व्हाट आई एम गुड एट, यानी जब मैं अपने एक्सपर्टीज से कनेक्ट होता हूँ, और व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ माई लाइफ, जो मेरा कह लीजिए फाउंडिंग प्रिंसिपल है, तब हम अपने सही स्वभाव पे पहुंच पाते हैं. देन वी आर एबल टू फाइंड आउट आवर स्वभाव. I'm just giving purposeful pause in the middle of this discussion so that you all get the time to contemplate. मैं जानबूझ के आप लोगों को थोड़ा सा ठहराव दे रहा हूं अपनी इस वार्ता में, जिससे आप अपने स्व से जुड़ पाए और ये जो चर्चा हमारी चल रही है इसको थोड़ा और अच्छे से गौर कर पाए, ध्यान दे पाए, स्वधर्म कर पाए. सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन, साहिल सचदेवा जी ने बोला. That's really nice, साहिल जी. सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट, और साइलेंस और वो जो प्रैक्टिस अभी हम करेंगे वो हमारे सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट और बहुत कारगर साबित होगी. एस्पायर टू ग्रो, रंजन जी ने बोला है, एस्पायर टू ग्रो इन ऑल डायमेंशंस ऑफ लाइफ. परफेक्ट. आई थिंक हम अच्छे से समझ पा रहे हैं अपनी भावनाओं को और अपने अपने आप को इस पूरे प्रोसेस में, क्योंकि अगर हम इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस की बात करें तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि उस ठहराव की भी बात करी जाए, उस ठहराव में भी हम चलते रहें आगे, जो हमें अपने जीवन में नित्य पर्यंत उतारना है और यथार्थ में लाना है. Very good. I am very happy. I can feel the energy of each and every participant who are joining us live. And it's really, really nice to feel this energy that you all are able to feel. And I'm sure you are able to connect. You are able to do justice to what the discussion and why we are here together today. क्योंकि ये जो एक्टिविटीज हैं, ये जो अभी हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं, यही हमें जो है हमें अपने जीवन में उतारनी है. और इन्हीं टूल्स को जीवन में उतारते उतारते वो जो हर डायमेंशन में ग्रो करने का जो हमारा उद्देश्य है वो फुलफिल हो पाएगा. अर्चित जी ने बोला, आई थिंक इट्स हंगर इनसाइड आवर हार्ट. वेरी नाइस. That is inspired a lot, like hunger was something too. Of course, very nice. Silence helps in being authentic with self. Very nice. ये हृदय आप ले आए अर्चित जी, that's a very good concept, because ऐसा क्या है हमारे पूरे जो हमारा ये यंत्र है, this whole body is a system, and in this whole system which is the one organ which we can connect with our feelings. कौन सा ऐसा ऑर्गन है आपके शरीर में जो फीलिंग से जुड़ा हुआ है, जो भावनाओं से जुड़ा हुआ है?
Heart, I find heart is that organ.
सही बात है, साइलेंस तो अपने ऑथेंटिक सेल्फ. पर इसमें देन द क्वेश्चन अराइजेस, आर वी एबल टू नो व्हाट इज माय ऑथेंटिक सेल्फ? दैट इज आल्सो अ क्वेश्चन वी हैव टू पॉन्डर अपॉन. सोचिए कि आपका ऑथेंटिक सेल्फ क्या है और कैसे आपको पता चले कि ये जो मैं सोच रहा हूं या जो मैं समझ रहा हूँ यही मेरा authentic self है. How you will get to recognize your authentic self? That is one question I want to ask you all to write down in your. You can write in the chat or you can write down in your copies and diaries.
We'll be asking you guys to share your notes that you guys are interacting here.
आप म्यूट पर हैं.
Yeah, am I not
Anshuman ji,
audible?
you are on mute. We are not able to
No,
hear
no,
you.
I'm not on mute. Am I audible now? Yeah, am I audible now? Yeah, can you hear me?
So अब ये contemplation की जो एक स्किल हम लोग अभी
Can you
डेवलप
hear
कर
me?
रहे हैं, मेरा यही उद्देश्य है कि हम इस सेशन के दौरान कैसे contemplate करें किन मुद्दों के ऊपर. What are the things on which we have to contemplate and what are the things we have to introspect, that we are able to hold of it, that we are able to find out in our life. And that is why we are going with that pauses, required pauses we are giving, so that you get hold of it and you master the skill of getting silence, getting knowing yourself better. Ashish ji is writing, it's easy to say but hard to implement. So how can we do that? How can you help us on this? Of course, we have few things at the end of the session. Please hold on, Ashish ji. We will surely come to you and address all your queries in person, personally.
I hope that all are able to hear me.
Yes, 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 Anshuman ji,
Great,
you are
great,
able to.
perfect,
We are able to
perfect.
do. Nice. So nice. So again, what is the universal principle that we all feel? What is a universal principle according to each one of you, which connects us with our purpose of life, which connects with your enjoyment, which connects what you are good at? Mindful thinking is in itself mindful. Yes, very nice, Ashish ji. Selflessness, very nice.
Selflessness.
Universal principle, nice.
We are moving towards GS as well. We are coordinating with GS as well, guys.
And what else? So we have 29 people live now. We also want 29 responses. So everyone is
There are more
requested
people live.
to.
A few have joined us all together from a very big screen. Like there are 200 plus people who have joined us on a screen at a single place. So they are
Oh,
watching us
nice.
live. There's a
So
coaching center
on
here
behalf
where we
of
have
those
people.
people, also we would request if more responses we can get.
Please,
Shaurya
please,
ji
if
is
you can
saying,
help.
I enjoy. Yes. Universal principle is enjoyment.
Okay, love.
Ranjan ji is saying love. Archit ji is saying Vasundhareo Kutumbakam. Very nice.
I
So you
find it
see,
love.
uh, yes. And so you are you able to see that everything is converging? with this diversity of audience, we are joining from so far part of places, very different backgrounds, but everything, see, love, selfless service, everything is leading towards just one universal principle: mutual understanding, authentic self. Everything is leading to one thing.
That's right.
So one of the important aspect is the freedom. You see, if freedom is not there, we all are caught. If freedom is not there, then where will be the question of aspiration, expertise, and purpose will come? Then the question is, you have freedom for what? I would like to listen from you. You have freedom for what?
I have freedom to live.
You have freedom to live. Great. Movie. Wow, nice. Shauriji is saying movie. He has the freedom to movie. Inner connection. Prerna ji is saying inner connectedness. Freedom to live out and speak out. Tanya ji is saying very nice.
That's right.
Aarti ji is saying whatever goes out comes back. Correct?
Whatever goes out comes in. Okay. Shaurya is saying listening. That's great,
Listening.
Shaurya. Others, please. You're welcome with your comments, guys.
Perfect. So, one of my guru, Puj Sri Chariji Maharaj, used to say, we have only freedom to do good things. But how? Then the question will arise: how we will get to know what is good?
Okay,
Here
absolute
comes
freedom
the
is
power of
yeah.
pause. Okay, Ranjanji is saying absolute freedom is even freedom from the thought of freedom. Oh, great! Where we have so free, we don't think it's freedom. Tongue twister. Nice, nice, great. We can express ourselves
That's great.
to ourselves and see ourselves improve ourselves and do that.
Awesome.
That is right. Yes. So Chariji
Great,
Maharaj used to
great.
say you have freedom to be right, to do right things.
Namaste, Bhaiya. We have Prakash Bhaiya joined us. Warm welcome, Bhaiya.
Thank you.
Yes. Kaushalinder, please continue.
So Namaskar Prakash, we are welcome.
Thank you. Have I joined too
So
early?
that is
No, sir. Time is perfect. Yes,
so
Kaushalinder,
that
please
is
continue.
the purpose. We were talking about how we have that freedom to be our authentic self, and freedom to do the new things, the right things. So that is why it is very important to have the power of pause, implement the silence. And when you have that connection, that authenticity, then you have courage. So when you have the courage to do things, love develops. When you have love and courage combined, you have enormous peace and your heart is content. So I would like to end my talk here with this practice which I'm leaving you all to connect with your heart. As the question was there, which is the organ in your body which connects with that emotion, which is connected with feelings and thoughts? So thank you, Anshumanji, and I would also like to invite each and every participant who has joined us to contemplate and introspect with the questions, with the discussions we have done, and try to figure out your authentic self. And when we are on that journey of finding our authentic self, then only we develop that capacity to be aware, to regulate and express our emotions and handle our emotions, and which will lead to emotional intelligence. So thank you, Anshuman ji. It was wonderful connecting with everyone. Looking forward to meet and to connect and communicate with the youth more and more on such platforms. Thank you. Namaskar.
Great. Thank you very much, Priya. It was an honor to have Kaushlendra Bhaiya with us, and it's my privilege that he joined us. I also would like to inform all our audience who are joining that I discussed things with Kaushlendra Bhaiya that we are planning such program on these dates, and we are expecting good orators for the session. And I would be very happy if you could also join us. He said, I'll be joining you. This will be a pleasure for me to join, and will be obliged to interact with the youth to discuss on points. And I'm very happy to share this with Kaushlendra Bhaiya that apart from youth, very senior people like professors, scientists, teachers have also joined us in this session. And I'm very thankful to you that you helped me reach this height to invite such people to this session. And as we are able to see very less people here in the live, would like to bring to the notice of all our guest speakers that almost 200 plus students have joined us at a single place, and they are watching this session live. So for that, I am very thankful to Mr. Akshansh ji from Great Einstein Coaching, who just got all these students registered for us, and that were completely free of cost. And they just helped creating this program go live on a very great scale. So I am very thankful to Mr. Akshansh ji, who just helped us. And for that, he just also noted that there are proper installation, there's proper installation of the projector screen as well. So thank you very much, Akshansh Bhaiya, for helping me in this manner. Rest, we are running late of time, and we have already with us Mr. Prakash Bhaiya, and it's my pleasure to have Bhaiya with us. So without any delay, would like to invite Mr. S. Prakash Bhaiya, Mr. Prakash Sheshadri, sir. For a very short introduction of Mr. Sheshadri, sir is a strategic thinker and a turnaround specialist. Prakash Sheshadri is also the founder and CEO of India's leading consulting house, Sea Change Consulting, and a heartfulness practitioner for close to 3 decades, continuing to serve millions across the globe in reaching their cherished goals. He has close to 4 decades of corporate, business, and leadership experience. He has authored 12 books till date and continues to help people from various walks of life to reach their cherished life goals. He is the regional facilitator for Heartfulness Institute, Tamil Nadu, and is the secretary to Honorable Reverend Daji, the president of Heartfulness Institute. We are overwhelmed to have you here with us, and
Thank
it's a
you.
pleasure to have you with us today.
Thanks a lot.
To the audience, would like to inform you, all the audience, that Bhaiya is having a very busy schedule. Prakash sir is having a very busy schedule, and just on our invitation, he just made out some time from his schedule, and he is with us. So I'm very thankful to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Over to you. Over to you.
Okay, we are slightly ahead of schedule, but still it's fine. It's really wonderful to virtually meet so many people. I hear that there are a lot of people from various walks of life who are here in this show. And of course, it's being streamed live and it's also available for viewing at a later point of time. I just wanted to start with a very simple story. The story is something like this. There is a very busy office executive who is just getting ready to go to his office for some series of important work that he has to accomplish that day. Time is about 8 o'clock in the morning. He gets dressed and picks up one of his best coat and dress because he has some series of meetings that he has to attend. And he's about to leave, and his wife, and he has a very lovely son who is about 7 years old. His wife is about to give him coffee as he's leaving for office, and somehow the coffee spills and falls on him, and it spoils that brand new nice white shirt and partly the coat that he is wearing to go to this important meeting. And he blows his top. And in the process, because of this shouting and whatever is happening between the father and mother, the child who is about to run to board the school bus misses the bus completely. And now the wife picks up a fight saying that you picked up a wrong time to shout, and the child has missed the school bus. Now you go and drop him. So the executive is now forced to pick up the child and run on the wrong direction of his office. He has to go the other side to drop the son in the school. By the time he reaches the school, it's already late. It's beyond the time in which the children are going to be allowed. So he's made to stay back at the door, and after the prayers are over, he meets the school class teacher and sort of apologizes, leaves his kid, and drives like crazy back to his office. And in the process, he gets 2 traffic challans. By the time he reaches office, it's already 45 minutes late, and the first meeting was supposed to be one of the most important meetings which will decide a very big order that he was discussing, a contract that he was discussing with one of his clients. The client had apparently reached the office in time. He waited for about half an hour. He lost his patience and he had already left the office, leaving a message that I was here for you, you are not there. And this executive's boss sort of tells him that we lost a precious order because of you. And one leads to another, his mood goes for a 6. And by the time the day ends, he is in one of the most awful moods that you can imagine, emotionally drained, drowned. And he comes back home and, in a fit of anger, again throws tantrums with his wife, throws the dress and shoes and stuff like that. Just a very simple question for you to ponder here. Who caused all this? Was it the cup of coffee that was spilled on him? Was it the child who did not go and take the school bus despite their parents fighting? The bus was right outside his home, he could have gone. Was it the wife who spilled the coffee on him? Was it the executive who did not control his temper? This is a classical case study for emotional intelligence I share across several leadership sessions. And invariably, interestingly, there are several answers which comes up. But if you really deep dive and understand, it was just not the executive alone who lost his temper. It was also the wife who could have played a part in calming him down, maybe given him a dress and said that I could have gone to school. All these ifs and buts is what happens when we lose our emotions. I could have done this, I could have done that, stuff like that. So, what does this one single case study actually, in some way, teach us? In some way, actually, it teaches us that whatever happens to us, normally we call it in EQ as 10 bar 90 rule. A 10 bar 90 rule is like 10% is what happens to you on which you have no control. But how you react to that creates the rest of the 90% of the consequences of the 10% input, the trigger. When you look at the triggers, the spilling of the coffee or the traffic challans or the teacher telling the student to wait outside because it was late, all these are triggers which comes from outside. Normally we call them as stimulus or stimuli. The world is always full of challenges or opportunities, depends on how you see it. But what you do with them is what is called as the entire study behind the concept that we are into, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. We all have heard about IQ for sure. We have the intelligence quotient, which is based on certain series of tests which are given. And based on the score that you are measured as a idiot or a moron or an average or an intelligent person. And if your score, I think it hits 150 or above, there is something called as a Mensa club. The Mensa club consists of people who have super IQs. But in my career spanning about 40 years, I have met several brilliant people, brilliant you just cannot imagine. People who have done things, thought things which is unimaginable. But when you look at the other side of their life, what we call as EQ, they are extremely poor. I remember a few of my colleagues with whom I have worked. The kind of brilliance that they had is something unimaginable. They could just look at a problem, technical problems. I began my career in computer field, and I worked in an organization which is also manufacturing a lot of newer and newer products and services. And these people were really cutting edge in terms of their ability to churn out new products. But one of these senior colleague of mine who was handling the R&D used to be such a hot-headed person. He doesn't need a trigger to abuse anyone. He will shout, he will rave and rant, and because he was almost indispensable for many years, people kept quiet. But at some point of time, when I subsequently met him, when he had literally lost the job and gone down the drain, despite his brilliance, it took him a lot of hard hits before he understood that emotions and the emotional quotient or emotional intelligence is an equally important element to balance the IQ. You might have great knowledge. There is a famous quotation that I would love to share with the people here. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. Let me repeat that for you to get the context. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. There are great scientists, people who can write stuffs which might take eons of time for others to understand. For example, the Einstein's theory of relativity. During his lifetime, hardly five people had understood it. That's what he said. Even now, I don't think many people still understand what he has said. At least I don't fully understand. But when we connect to people, do we connect to people because of their knowledge? That immediate subjective knowledge might bring a sense of awe in us for that person. But when you get closer to the person, if there is the human side which is unpredictable, nasty, abusive, we don't want to continue a relationship with them. All those who are close to your heart today have done something to make you feel comfortable in their presence. They have done something to care for you, at least, if not practically, at least they gave you a few words of comfort to make you feel comfortable that yes, I care for you. I'm here. I understand your problem. When I do coaching sessions for large corporates, one of the standard challenge which comes across from people who report to the directors or CEOs or chairmen of organizations, the only thing they say that if only my boss knows how to listen. My boss just doesn't listen. It is said that I read this study many years back. Many of the interpersonal issues, either in family or at workplace, tend to get resolved if just one person is just ready to listen. Listening is like allowing someone to let the steam off a pressure cooker. Many times, listening by itself creates solutions which sheer mental, intellectual arguments do not provide. That is the power of a person who cares, who just doesn't know things. I might know how to launch a rocket. I might know how to spin the earth faster or slower. I might know the best of tricks in the world, but if I don't know how to keep relationships intact. I was recently reading a book, very interesting book that I'm still reading. It's a Japanese book. It is based on a philosophy that all the world problems finally boil down to interpersonal problems. It might look to be a petty work issue. It might look to be a petty understanding issue in a classroom for a student. It might look to be an issue between a father and a mother, a spouse. But finally, it is our inability to understand, accept the other person's point of view. They may be right, they may be wrong, but they want to be listened to. For that, we have to be ready to open up. And for that, you have to understand the power of emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. The coffee cup story that I shared with you, which was the beginning of this conversation, it's a classical case of two, three people refusing to see the other person's point of view or not able to listen. If you look at a very simple concept, what is an emotion? Emotion is nothing but energy in motion, as they say. We are all bundle of energies. We all go through a series of ups and downs in our life, in our day-to-day life. And these ups and downs causes us lot of mood swings. These mood swings can be right from ecstasy to extreme sorrow or pain or anger. And because of what is happening inside of me, how I react to the external world keeps changing from time to time. We always say that a good leader who has a balanced EQ, not just IQ, emotional quotient, his behavior becomes predictable. When do I feel comfortable talking to someone, despite whatever challenge he is going? If I am going to speak to my boss or my spouse or to my anybody else, and I have to gauge, many times I've seen in corporate offices, before people enter the boss's room, they ask the secretary, how is boss's mood? Is he okay? And how should it matter? I am working for you. I have something to discuss. When I come to your room, we are discussing an issue. But his emotions, and these are not people who are lower end people. I'm talking about people with 20, 30 years of work experience whom I coach. They themselves don't know. Nobody holds a mirror to their face and say that, hey, boss, there are times your face actually is scary and ugly to look, not in terms of physical ugliness, but your emotional ugliness. When you are unpredictable, I'm spending half the time. It's like a judo match. I don't know when I'm going to be hit. I have to be on my toes all the time. Emotional swings are much worse than judo matches. I have to continuously gauge when I go back home how is my spouse's mood going to be, how is my daughter's mood going to be, how is my neighbor's mood going to be. And in these cases, in these times at least, I even have to gauge what is my dog's mood going to be. That's really funny because even dogs seem to have moods. And when you go home, my spouse will say, no, no, Jimmy, Tommy, whatever, he's angry, he's sad. It is said that dogs apparently have between 30 to 40 moods that they display to their owners. In this afternoon, surprisingly, I was having a conversation with someone, and he was saying that even dogs have emotions, and having a dog adds to more challenges than actually solving. Many people have dogs for companionship. In fact, I read a recent humorous short joke that dogs will be out of business if only humans knew how to support each other emotionally. We pick up dogs as pets, dogs, cats, whatever, because they seem to at least have a one-way traffic, in the sense I can throw any tantrum to my dog, it will still keep quiet because I'm its boss and it knows so. It won't happen with my child or my spouse or my neighbor, they'll throw me out. So they say the dogs and cats and pets will be out of business, and surprisingly, whether you know it or not, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry pan world. Maintaining pets, veterinarians, the pet shops, the pet curing clinics, the stuff that they give for pets to be happy. I have one of my neighbor who spends about 25,000 rupees on his dog per month. I doubt if he even spends so much time on himself. There is so much that is happening. If I go back to the definition what I gave you, EQ comes from fundamental ability to manage your emotions. And that, as I mentioned, emotion is nothing but an energy in motion. Let me go back. I don't know if you really can hear the noise I'm going to make. In case I scratch my nails and the noise that it makes, or scratch a metal crown onto a floor, that the noise that you hear, would you find it very pleasant or would you be upset with that? 100 out of 100 people who have asked, they have said that, Prakash, please stop it. It's very upsetting. Just a metal scratching on a stone, creating that scratching noise, puts off people. And there is a very deep rooted science on how it connects back to EQ. It apparently triggers something which is very strange, which people who are familiar will know as, it's called as amygdala hijack. Amygdala is considered to be part of the primordial brain 50,000, 100,000 years ago, when we were not the hunters, we were the hunted. Man or our forefathers of the Stone Age were living in caves where they were the prey. There were bigger preys who were chasing them all the time. And the noise which I simulate of a metal crown being scratched on a stony surface produces the same sound that is embedded in our DNA for thousands of years of a predator chasing us. And that triggers what is known as the flow of blood into your amygdala. The primordial brain, on top of which our cortex and neocortex and hippocampus and everything else has grown subsequently. It is said that earlier the human, literally it was like a stem which the primordial brain used to stop, and the tip was considered to be the amygdala, which even today when you really get angry, you will find that there is very serious blood flow somewhere at the back of your head. You'll feel it. When you get angry, when you're upset, or when your life is in danger, you'll find that there is a blood flow, and actually you will see that your face turns pale or reddish. That is a signal to the primordial brain to generate two kind of reactions, what we call as fight or flight. When we find a predator chasing us, even when we are asleep, we have to survive, otherwise we'll be dead. It is said that during the Stone Age time, the man's average longevity of living was about 24 to 25 years. Nowadays, 70 to 75 years is quite normal. And none of them died because of any disease. They were all killed by predators. We were prey to someone else. And hence, like for example, when you're sleeping today in the morning, when you get up, you see a small blood stain on your arm. You know that even when you're asleep, you killed a mosquito which is biting you and sucking your blood. That exactly is the role of amygdala. The amygdala controls the blood flow. And in that instant, we don't have time to process something using our logical brain. The blood flows automatically to what is known as the survival portion of our neural system. And that trigger causes series of actions. After the blood subsides, after the act of prevention. When I say fight or flight, when the blood flows to the brain, the primordial brain in less than a few microseconds assesses if the person or the object which is attacking you is superior to you or inferior to you. And if it is superior to you, the blood flows to your legs, which is a sign for you that you have to run from the situation. That's what is called as flight. But if that portion of your limbic brain tells you that you are superior to the object which is chasing you, the blood flows to your arms, limbs, which means you can raise your arm and go and hit the object to kill it, protect yourself. And all this happens in a few microseconds or split second. And that happens because nature, as part of the evolution or what Darwin's theory would say, it gave us a choice of evolving into what we need for us to survive as a species. We have to survive, and for that, this primordial brain's role was important. But subsequently, over the last 5-10,000 years, man has moved down from the caves and he has come to the plains. He learned agriculture, he became more civilized, he has an official family, he has children, grandchildren, he knew how to build a home. But despite all this, we still believe and work and react as if we are still in the Stone Age. For example, this coffee spilling story with which I started, the coffee spills on you. The moment coffee spills on you, in less than a few nanoseconds, your primordial brain, which is called as the amygdala, AMYGDALA, do a Google on that, it's a very powerful subject. It tells you quickly that if coffee has been spilled on you, you might land up going to your office with a stained dress. People may not like. You may lose the contract. And if you continue to lose these contracts, you may lose your job and you'll be on the street. And without even knowing, the primordial brain now acts or reacts to the situation, fight or flight. In this case, the wife appears to be an object with which the man believes he can attack. So he fights. If it was the same thing, the coffee was spilled by his boss on him, what would he have done? He would have done what is called as a flight, which means he will know the boss is superior to him. He can't fight with his boss. So he'll do what is known as flight, because now the blood will flow to the legs. Even in your life, when you are facing any situation, quickly just for a second pause and find where the blood is flowing. It's a classical self-study we can do any number of times in any situation. If the blood is going to my hand, it shows I am superior. School bullies children, they all know when to hit and when to run instinctively. When they know that they have somebody who is a better bully than them, they'll run. And if they find someone who is weaker than them, the blood will go into the hand, which means they'll attack. This, unfortunately, let me give you another small example for you to relate to that. Let's say that you are sitting in the 7th floor of an office space in your AC room, facing the road. Anyone entering the office will have to cross several layers of security before they can come to your room. Let us say that you are quietly immersed in your work. Just visualize this for a minute. There's a huge roar of a lion right next to your ear. What will you do? You'll jump out of your chair. You'll run away. What has happened? Logical brain, if you had used it, will tell you that for a lion to come to a concrete jungle in a city, get into a lift, come to the 7th floor, enter the security register, take a pass, come to your room, crossing your security or whoever, and then to make that roar is non existent logic. It's not going to happen. Yet what happened is you instantly reacted because that roar reminded you of a DNA imprint in you which says that your life is a threat. That at least is understandable. Our day-to-day situations, what happens is, unfortunately, we are stuck in this survival mode throughout our life. Everything that happens to us, somebody shouts at me, in less than a fraction of a second, I mentally assess without even my conscious knowledge. It happens at your primordial brain level. You quickly assess, is this person much more stronger than me? Fighting him, would it put my job or my life at stake in jeopardy, or can I shout back at him? This is what happens in corporate rooms or in classrooms or in families. Whoever gets into a fight leads to a series of fights where they react and counter react and the chain continues. Every step of the life, if we really look, it is about a series of survival issues we are fighting. And emotional intelligence is what strikes at the root of this malady to tell you that life is no more about survival. Let's look at it logically. Even for a, very simple exercise, I was sharing this a couple of days back in another corporate session. For example, you're driving back home and you find a very big branded shirt being sold and you liked it. You step out of your car, park, go and buy that flashy stuff, which cost you quite a few thousands. You liked it, you bought it. As you are walking out of the shop and you board, get into your car and drive home, what is the thought running in your head? You are now thinking of how to tell your wife or your spouse why you bought this shirt. You are logically looking at justifying your action. This is a catchphrase which all global marketing companies use. This is a scientifically proven concept that whatever I'm going to say is going to be very impactful. You may have to make a mental note of it. People decide emotionally and then justify logically. This is a universal truth. Literally, exceptions are there, but very few. People decide emotionally and then justify logically because every situation is seen as a survival situation. For example, my subordinate disobeys me right in front of a few of other colleagues who are also my subordinates. What do I do as a boss? The normal tendency is I shout back, I issue him a memo or fire him or shout back at him or throw him out of the job. Why? Because if I allow my subordinate to shout, my primordial brain or lack of emotional intelligence processes it in such a way that by allowing him to shout, I am losing my authority over him. By repeatedly allowing someone to not obey my orders is questioning the fundamental basis of my existence in this job and hence this organization. If you extrapolate whatever happens, if you want to master emotional intelligence, it is said that you have to master death itself. Because the entire emotional intelligence or a reaction to any situation of fight or flight is based on a very simple core fundamental concept called as fear of death. Let's extrapolate a bit. Okay, my subordinate shouts at me. I allow it to pass. What will happen? He'll shout at me again. A few more people will shout. They will not perform. What will happen? I will not be seen as a performer. If I'm not seen as a performer consistently, my salaries may be downgraded, my job may be downgraded. At some point of time, I'll be put on the street. At some point of time, I lose my job. I won't have money to protect my family. After that, finally, I will die. Anyway, whoever is watching this program, is there anyone who is watching the program who's 5, 10,000 years old? Doubtful. I don't think so, at least not in a physical form. Which means that all of us have a fixed life term 80, 90, 100, 120 years, whatever it may be, if we properly live. The 6 by 3 is always waiting for us. Why fret all the in between stuff is what emotional intelligence tells you. And for this to understand, there are several mental models which are available. One of the famous models has been pioneered by one of the champions of emotional intelligence called as Daniel Goleman. I don't know if the previous speakers have touched on this. There is another model which is available, homegrown, which is also in our own Ashtanga Yoga. Both these models are available for you to use, for you to master slowly your emotions. Because emotions is like nuclear power, much worse than that, in fact. Nuclear power can be used for both positive and negative purpose. Likewise, emotions can be used for positive as well as negative. Let's ask a question. Is emotional power bigger than nuclear power, or nuclear power is bigger than emotional power? Go back to 1944, the first week of August. I think it was Roosevelt or Eisenhower who ordered the first atomic bomb to be human trialed in two places in Japan called Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Did the bomb fall on its own? Somebody ordered the nuclear war to be started.
Right.
Which means the decision was taken by Eisenhower or Roosevelt, who was the president of USA then, which was triggered by some emotion which was based on the World War II, that if he allows Japan to continue their march, they would have defeated USA in the war. That fear of losing the war made him to do one of the most nastiest things that can ever be imagined, of throwing a nuclear bomb at another human, another nation. And it took 3 4 generations. So obviously emotional power is much more stronger. If you don't know how to regulate your emotions, I mean, I always jokingly say getting angry is like drinking a cup of poison but expecting the other person to die. People who get angry, it's like I drink poison but I want you to die. It doesn't happen. Likewise, when you hold emotions, specifically the negative ones, it hurts you more because you suffer in the longer run. The person whom you are shouting at might leave you and go, and he will live peacefully, happily ever after. But you're going to carry that. I've seen generations of families being affected by it. One wrong word spoken, one wrong action interpreted wrongly, one action interpreted wrongly, and there is a flurry of emotions being thrown at each other. All of us have gone through this, where we have been at the receiving end or the giving end in our life. We have either been shouted at or we have been shouted. Somebody has got angry on us, we have got angry on somebody else. We have been upset with someone, someone has been upset with us. All these have led to a series of actions, and as Newton's third law of motion would say, every action will have consequences, counteractions, and series of reactions on which you have no control. The 10 bar 90 rule, which I mentioned at the beginning, 10% of what happens to you is out of your control, but 90% of what happens after that purely depends on your emotional intelligence. Logic has absolutely no role to play. In fact, if you look at what I mentioned 5 minutes back, the great marketing companies of the world work on what is known as impulse buying. They all work. If you have ever walked into a departmental store, the billing counter will have lovely, fanciful, small items stored there. While you are waiting to pay the bill, which takes about 3 4 minutes, you impulsively pick up that snack bar or that bottle of cool drink or that nice spray perfume, and before you realize your bill has shot up by 25 30%. It was never on your buying list originally. In fact, if you know the marketing truth, that counter space is charged 5 to 10% more for people who want to vend their products, because that is a impulse buying spot. Man falling in love with a woman, women proposing to a man, they are all impulse decisions. How many of us who have had a love marriage can say that I went through it logically and then decided? No, it's a flurry of emotions. You may justify it and make the best out of it later, that's up to you. And hence Daniel Goleman's five-step process. I'll quickly share that and then leave it open to the forum to ask questions. How long more do I have to continue? I mean, 5 10
Yeah, you
minutes.
may, yeah, you may please continue.
Because I can go on, but I have to look at the clock or the calendar.
No, no, sure, sir. You're welcome for everything.
So if you look at this again is an emotional reaction. What my host did. The moment I put an emotional question, he emotionally reacted. So no, you can go it because that instant I might feel bad, and that's again a classical fight or flight response. I'm just joking. If you look at the Daniel Goleman's model, he looks at what is known as two set of competencies that we must have. One is called as the personal competencies. The other are called social competencies. Personal competencies is the space where I am responsible for my emotions. If I am not responsible, I am likely to use the way the first nuke was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I may drop my emotional bombs on everybody else around me. It's all the time people spraying a AK-47 emotional bullet on everybody else around all the time. We all keep seeing it. Some of us have tuned it down, even with whatever exposure, experience I have. I can't say that 10 out of 10 times I don't react. Maybe I have, earlier it used to be, I used to react 10 out of 10. I have brought it down maybe now to zero point 0.5 or 1 out of 10. I haven't made it zero. It's almost humanly impossible. There are certain extreme emotions where you still succumb. But at least he speaks about two competencies, two buckets of competencies. One is called as personal competencies, the other are called as social competencies. In the space of personal competencies, the first thing that he says is that be self-aware. Normally, this is done as a process of feedback. After something has happened, we can always go and ask somebody. People who are close to us might come and tell us. In these situations, Prakash, you tend to react, you tend to get angry. In these situations, you are sad. In these situations, you feel traumatized. In these situations, you are happy. I'll tell you why it makes a difference because there are about a range of 40, 50 emotions we all go through. For each one, it's about 8 to 10 emotions. And that, if you Google it, you will be able to find. It's about 8 to 10 emotions that we all have in us, which we need to master. 7 out of 10 emotions are negative, about 2, 3 emotions are positive. If you find the combination of both, then this becomes a positive nuclear force with which you can build a huge amount of success in your life in whatever you do. As I mentioned about 20 minutes ago, that the world's only problem is lack of interpersonal skills. If you manage interpersonal skills, there is nothing in this world that we cannot manage. It is said that a person whose interpersonal skill or emotional intelligence is good, when he says something, people will even give their life to do what they are saying. They jokingly used to say that if a person who is emotionally strong, emotionally well balanced, tells you to commit suicide, you will look forward to doing it because you trust that person so much. He has built so much of trust because he shows that he cares, because he one understands himself. This self awareness is about asking yourself or taking feedback from others to find what are the triggers which make you to react either positively or negatively. In about 2 to 3 months time max, if you take consistent feedbacks, you see all of us have about 10, 15, 20 people who are close to us. A few people who work with me in office room, one or two who are my bosses, my spouse, my family members, my couple of my relatives, my well-wishers. I can draw a list of 10, 15, 20 people. If you take this input seriously, you can even start it today. Just ask them one question. Please tell me what are the times when I am drained emotionally, when I'm angry, when I'm sad, or when I'm traumatized. There are standard checklists available on the net as well. You can search and find. And request their honest, open feedback. Many people happily give you feedback, and also ask them what are the times when I actually feel very joyful. What makes me? So for some people, good food makes them feel good, joyful. For some people, having good vibration of people around them makes joyful. For some people, if they are successful in achieving something, it makes them joyful. It secretes what are called as happy hormones. It's a separate subject by itself. If you're able to find it out, that is the first step of self-awareness you cross. Okay, I have gone through self-awareness. What do I do then? Personal competencies, what is said in EQ model is now I learn to channelize. As I mentioned, energy in motion becomes emotion, which means like any other energy, emotional energy also needs to be channelized. For example, when someone pushes me hard and I get angry, the emotion which runs immediately is to shout back at that person. It's an energy. But instead, I can ask, okay, he has made me angry. How do I channelize to make that anger to work for me in a positive way? We always say this in many EQ sessions I share with people. When people throw bricks at you, either you can be hurt by it or you can step aside, collect the bricks, and build your own home free of cost. Choice is yours. Likewise, when someone makes you angry, okay, I get angry because he has pointed out at some inadequacy in me. I'm not competent. Hey boss, you are an idiot. You didn't do this. Okay, I may be an idiot, may not be an idiot. But he is throwing a situation at me which makes me to think that okay, I'm not competent. Now what do I have to process is self-regulation. It's like when you look at the sluice gates in the dam. There will be multiple sluice gates and the water will be stored in the dam and the water is channelized to send it through to the required site where the paddy fields have to be irrigated. This is the concept of a basic dam. Likewise, our energy, if you learn, okay, I quickly find out, okay, boss, I know I'm getting angry. This is the reason. Okay, I've already got feedbacks. Okay, what am I going to do now? I'm going to channelize it to make myself better. It takes a little bit of time, but over a period of 3-4 months, you can get a little bit of a hang of the self regulation. After all, I am talking to you right now. A few people watching, including my compeer. There may be a lot of emotions which is running in their head or heart, but they are not displaying all that openly because, at least in a public forum, we have learned how to regulate and present a smiling face or an acceptable face. We know already how to do it. Likewise, in self-regulation, there is a famous quote called as "fake it till you make it." Initially, fake it. Over a period of time, it's like actors playing a role. When it appears on the screen, we know they're acting, yet we get hooked on to how they're acting. It's not that a person acting as a hero is actually going through it in his life. He is just mouthing a script and acting based on what a director tells him. So, likewise, fake it. Even when you're getting angry, calm it down. There are ways in which you can calm down. One is to introduce pause, second is to drink a glass of water, third is to go for a walk. There are hundreds of tips available. If you're able to do, by the time the blood which runs to your primordial brain normally lasts about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Normally. When that blood slows down, now your logical brain will take over. And that half a minute to 2 minutes is what is essential for you to hold your negative reactions. By the time the blood slows down, your primordial fight or flight approach goes off the radar, then you can start thinking logically. Okay, boss, you call me an idiot. I understand. I appreciate your feedbacks. Would you mind telling me what is that I can do to make me look like a normal person? So, if you look at that, then you move to what is known as regulating and then move to what is called as self motivation. And then when you express this as a social competency, it becomes expressed externally as empathy and finally your social and interpersonal skills. I would maybe pause here because Daniel Goleman's work of social competencies and personal competencies are available for you to read on the net. And maybe we can now leave it open for us to have a quick chat and a few set of questions.
Thank you very much, sir. We are open for the questions from the audience. If we have any questions to ask to Mr. Prakash, sir, you are welcome with your questions. By the time, sir, I am having a few questions which are prepared by the team to be asked to you. The first question which we are having is, tell us about some time when you got emotionally weak due to any reason, whether it may be positive or negative, and how you overcome and deal that situation.
Normally, it is said that each and every human being goes through about 20 to 30 emotional patches every day. At least thanks to a system of meditation that I practice, what we call as heartfulness meditation, I have learned two things. One, to do what is called as spot cleaning. It's like if you're eating in a restaurant and a sauce falls on your shirt, you don't wait till the next day to clean it. You just go to the restroom and use some water or a soap and clean it off. Likewise, whenever I find emotional challenges, I quickly, normally close my eyes and sit and see if I can clean off the impact of that reaction which is coming out. And when I do that, I immediately am able to get back to normalcy and then my logical brain takes over. The second is when I also do a couple of minutes of meditation, whether you want to do heartfulness meditation or mindful meditation or any kind of meditation that you have. Meditation is when you connect to a higher power and wait for guidance in one way or another. It helps you to calm your nerves. Finally, it's all about managing that rush of blood. It can be as simple as sometimes, many times I have followed this technique with great success. At least my close friends and family members know. When I get angry, which I do, I don't want to dismiss that I don't get angry. I am a human. All I do is I shut my mouth. My wife, at least for sure, knows that when I'm not speaking, she knows that I am calming down. They say that even dogs at home understand that language. When you are not speaking, it knows that boss is, and then it look down and put its puppy eyes and start looking at you lovingly. So one thing I learned is to shut up and stitch my mouth for a few minutes. By the time things slow down a bit and I get my normal senses back.
Thank you, sir. Sir, as you are a CEO of a very renowned company, so how you manage the materialistic and spiritual life of yours? Because you must be having a very busy schedule. So how you manage both these things?
What I've learned one thing is there's a famous quote which I keep sharing throughout, which you might have read as well. Life is what happens to you while you are busy planning for it. You're planning something and something is happening. For example, you are going on a holiday somewhere, planning, I'll go here, I'll go there, I'll go there. And on there you have a flat tire. It's out of your control. So if you really look at it, efforts is something that I have complete control. Emotional intelligence always says that how you react or respond to a situation is completely in your control. What others do is their domain. So when it comes to my material life and spiritual life, I take a holistic view that I can give the best of my efforts. For example, you might want to hit a six in a IPL match, and the person does some kind of a gymnastic. You have seen some of these fabulous catches they take on the edge of the what appears to be a six. I saw 2 days ago a match. The fielder just plucked it out of thin air, and that six became a wicket. What else can you do? I can't say that I will not hit a six because by hitting a six the ball might be caught. I have to go for it. Efforts are in your hand, and of course, every time the efforts don't go as you plan, just find out what is it that message is coming to you and do a course correction. This is something I find to be useful, at least from my personal life.
Sir, as you just mentioned about a process of cleaning, so when you just have had has to neutralize a stressful situation in a professional environment, do you go with that process only, or is there anything else you continue with?
Other than that process, sometimes you see there are whenever there is a stress happening, there are two parties to it: the person who has created the stress, the person who is the receiver of the stress. Either I have created it on somebody else or somebody else has created it on me. Normally, I always take myself down a few notches, whoever that person may be. He may be my subordinate, he may be my client, he may be my supplier, he may be anybody else in my social life, Heartfulness Institute, or whatever that I'm working with. I take myself a few notches down and ask them, have I done something wrong? Can you just tell me where have I gone wrong? Can I change myself? Normally, people I have seen are startled when you don't react. People expect you to react because that's the normal norm. When you don't react and then sit with them quietly and then ask them, have I done something wrong? Can you tell me where have I gone wrong? In corporate life, we always say that it is the performance for which you give a feedback, not for the person. But unfortunately, we confuse it and then give feedback for the person, but not for the performance. And hence, what happens is we lose the wood for the trees, as they say. So, what is best, I have always seen, is surrender to the process. Who is the aggressor? Ask them. I mean, they are not out there to kill me for sure. It's not a war front. There is a situation and they are upset with my output or how I have behaved. And I'm sorry. Sorry and thanks are two very powerful words, but of course, don't interchange and use them. When someone shouts, don't say thanks, and when you have to say thanks, don't say sorry. When someone shouts that I'm sorry, I think my behavior has created some kind of a rift. Would you mind telling me? I don't instantly say it, I give a pause, and it has worked wonders for me.
Sir, one more question from my end. As you are a secretary to the Global Guide of Heartfulness Institute, and sometimes it happens that few people want to visit Reverend Daji, and you have to deny them due to some reasons that he is not available or he is not well. So, what happens? People just start blaming the concerned person that you are not allowing us to meet him or you are not allowing us to meet the concerned person. So, what in that situation? How you deal with that? Because the reason is not that you are denying them on your own.
See, normally, in any, if you know how to listen to people, you don't see normally, even when you might have seen in several people's life, when you want to break a bad news, you don't go jump into that person and straight away say this is the bad news. You sort
Right.
of talk to them, slow them down, and bring certain good memories. Hey, I remember last time we met Daji, this is what happened. How did it go? How are these things? And then slowly come to it. Slowly come to it. People normally understand. 9 out of 10 people understand, and we always create a hope. See, we all live perennially with the hope that something better is going to happen. We give them a sense of hope. Maybe Daji is not well today. Maybe he would prefer to meet you the next day. He has some people understand. But as I mentioned earlier, when you surrender to the process that the person who has come to meet, they don't see you as a stumbling block between him and the master or the guru. It's better that you make it as softer as possible. Taji always says, be kind in your words. People will understand and reciprocate automatically. This is something I've always seen it works. Couple of times it doesn't. You have to take it in your stride.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. It was pleasure to have you with us, Mr. Prakash, sir, on this second national virtual conference on EQ, emotional quotient, a concept for heartful neuro leadership. So basically, firstly, would like to inform all our delegates who have joined us for this conference. We have got repeated questions that why such a topic we have kept, and the term heartful. I just got inspired from heartfulness meditation, and then I just named this session as Heartful Neuro Leadership. So basically, how can we reach with our hearts? How can we reach with our minds? That is more important, as all our guest speakers for today have told in their talks. For this, would like to also inform you that we have a surprise gift for all our delegates who have registered with us. We'll be providing the soft copy of a book, The Glory of Indian Civilization, in the words of Swami Vivekanand, which has been donated by an NGO to Dhadkan to be given to all our registered participants. So we'll be sharing the soft copy of that book, The Glory of Indian Civilization, in the words of Swami Vivekanand, in the emails that you'll be receiving after tomorrow with your certificates. Apart from that, if you have any doubts, queries to any of our guest speakers, you may please feel free to contact us. We'll be providing you their contact details by their kind consent so that you can talk to them and interact with them personally. Apart from that, one more notice is that we are inviting our delegates to a session of heartfulness, relaxation, and meditation. To witness that session, you are all invited at Kana Shantivanam, a place full of greenery, a place full of lot many things you can experience there. Kana Shantivanam is a place located in Hyderabad and is a wonderful place to live your real life, to have more experiences in your life, and to see how emotionally strong you can. So I invite you all for that as well. We'll also be sharing the details, exact details for visiting Kanha with all our delegates as well in our mail that you'll be receiving. Apart from that, if anybody of you is having any sort of questions with us, you are most welcome for that. I don't find any questions are heading with us. For the same, to visit Kana Shantivanam, the dates are September 27th to 29th, 2022. So if you are interested, you may please share your request to visit Kana in the mailbox or the chat box of the Dhadkan Foundation. Thank you for today's session. Thank you all the delegates for joining us. I am very thankful to Prakash sir and all our dignitaries who joined us, our guest speakers, Mr.
I
Vivek
thank
Katre sir, Mr. Kaushleen Pratap Singh sir, and Mr. Prakash Bhaiya. I am very thankful to you sir, especially because I know your schedule and I understand that how difficult it must would have been that for you to join us. Thank you very
thank
much,
you.
sir.
Thank you, and thanks to DHADCAN Foundation also for enabling this. Whatever we can, we have to make the world a better place, and to that extent, whatever we can contribute in whichever way is always welcome. This is what Daji teaches us, and I'm happy that I'm able to share. Thanks once again till we meet again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. With this, we conclude our today's session, day first of National Virtual Conference on EQ, a concept for heartful neuro leadership, and would like to inform all that tomorrow's session is planned to start at 5 p.m. sharp. We'll be starting tomorrow's session sharp at 5 p.m. We'll be having Mr. Sanjay Sehgal, sir, CEO of MSYS Technologies, USA. Next in the sequence, we'll be having Dr. Rahul Mehrotra, Head and Dean of Max Super Specialty Hospital, Cardiology Department. Also, we'll be having Miss Kritika Krishna from CreateNet Education. She is also an IIT alumna. So we hope that all will be joining us tomorrow on a very good scale, and I hope that we'll be sharing the links that has been shared to you in your mails and WhatsApps. To please share it with your friends on Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, so that more and more people can join us and can enjoy this national conference which is going on. Apart from that, if they are interested to register themselves for our sessions, they may please share an email with us to register themselves as an on-spot registration. Thank you for joining us all. Pranams.